Yeah, that's Lucky. Welcome. Good morning. That's Lucky in the background. What you barking at, big boy? You don't know? I don't know. You have a treat over there I need to get for you? Lucky is a sweet boy. He's a good boy. He's a handsome boy, but he's not the smartest boy. So, anyway, that's not what I was going to make this video about. I know my hair is... Anyway, so a friend of mine on Facebook lives down south, but 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 she knows this area. Now I just thought, I don't know if I've talked about this. I probably have talked about this, but it's been a long time. One difference I find in New England, or at least New Hampshire, well, New Hampshire and Vermont at least, because I don't really know about the other states. I haven't been to them. Yet I have family by marriage in Maine and Massachusetts, but I have never met them, at least not that I can recall. Anyway, up here, when you move into a neighborhood, it's like they expect you to go meet the people who already live here. Down south, where I lived for 40 years, or nearly 40 years, it's the other way around. You have like a welcome wagon. Everybody shows up at your door. And I was like, I don't know you. You know, and they're bringing you cakes and cookies and home-baked bread and pies and stuff like that. But anyway, that's not really what I wanted to talk about. That's just a difference I find between the South and the Northeast. Heat. Heat. This is a weather video. Okay? More than 2 minutes into the video, I finally get to the point of the video. And I know the TV's on. Lucky was barking. Lucky's looking at me like, what are you doing, Daddy? But anyway, it's like I always lived where it was either hot or very, very warm. Southern Spain, that's where I'm from. You know, it gets quite warm there. I lived there. I did live in Virginia for a year while my dad was in Vietnam, but I'm assuming, even though it was Northern Virginia, I'm assuming we lived in Alexandria. I'm assuming it's hot in the summertime in Northern Virginia. It gets hot up here in New England. Yeah, I'm in Northern New England, although in the southern part of Northern New England. But anyway, then I lived on Okinawa for 5 years. I loved Okinawa. Actually, Anthony Bourdain, the cook, chef, food guy, he is going to Okinawa, and he's going to show an Okinawan bullfight. It's the first time I've seen that since I left. And that was 1972. And then I lived in Texas. I lived in most parts of Texas. I lived in South Texas, not the Valley. The Valley's further south than South Texas. I lived in South Texas, San Antonio. I lived in the Hill Country. I lived in Southeast Texas. I lived in North Texas. I lived in Central Texas. I lived in the Southern Texas Plains. No, actually, I didn't live in there, but I went there a lot because my grandparents had a farm out there. So I spent a lot of time out there. The Coastal Bend. Now, Southeast Texas and the Coastal Bend, hot, humid. And when I was in high school, hey man, it was, you know, be tried as an adult or go back to that hellhole, and I wound up going back to that place. Not my choice, actually. I said try me as an adult. But thankfully they didn't. But after school got out at 3 o'clock. We had exercises for 30 minutes to an hour, starting at 3:30. This is a blacktop, no shade. And, you know, it's 105 degrees, 110 degrees, and it's 100% humidity. You figure that one out. But anyway, so, you know, I moved to San Antonio in 1986. And I didn't live all over San Antonio. I kind of was confined to just a few places. I don't mean confined by being behind bars. I was never behind bars. But, I mean, I only lived in, you know, a few areas of San Antonio. And I left in 2010. 2010. And I met my wife later that year online. No, well, I say later that year. I mean, it wasn't but a few months later. And then we moved here in 2011. But anyway, so yeah, I don't like hot. I don't like heat. I mean, I just don't. I don't like hot weather. I can't stand it. I am shirtless. I do have pants on, by the way, but I am shirtless. I go outside. I go out there without a shirt on to walk lucky. And it feels good to me. Now, I can't stay out there forever, but, you know, I can. I like it. I enjoy the cold weather. One thing I need to get this year are a pair of rag wool mittens. Because right now I just have gloves, and I need something better than gloves. Mittens are much better for the hands in the middle of winter up here. But yeah, so I don't like heat. I just don't.